You see, there's this fascinating little dance we're all caught up in. A divine comedy, if you will. The world, oh, it loves to play this game. Pushing people down, watching them squirm, testing their limits. But here's the punchline that makes me laugh every single time. They don't understand how this game really works. No, no, no. They think they're the ones in control. The puppet masters pulling all the strings. But they're just extras in God's grand performance. Let me tell you something about being pushed down. It's not about the fall. It's about what happens in that moment when you're lying there. Taste of dirt in your mouth. Their laughter ringing in your ears. That's when the real show begins. See, they expect you to stay down, to accept their version of your story. Know your place, they whisper. This is where you belong, they sneer. But they're missing the most beautiful part of this cosmic joke. Every time they push you down, God pulls you higher. It's poetry in motion, really. Divine intervention wrapped in human suffering. The harder they try to bury you, the stronger the heavenly hands that lift you up become. It's almost poetic how they don't see it coming. This miraculous transformation happening right under their noses. They're so busy congratulating themselves on your supposed defeat that they miss the wings sprouting from your back. You want to know what's truly funny? The way they'll change their tune when success finally embraces you. Oh, the sudden shift in their eyes. From contempt to curiosity, from dismissal to desperate attention. They'll come crawling back, these fair weather friends, these seasonal supporters. Their memory suddenly becomes selective, conveniently forgetting all the times they were the ones holding you down. We always believed in you, they'll say, voices dripping with honey-coated lies. But here's where it gets interesting. You're not just anyone. No, no. You're the chosen ones, handpicked by the divine for this peculiar path of pain and glory. Every scar they gave you, that's just God's way of marking his favorites. Every door they slammed in your face, another divine redirect to something greater. You see, while they thought they were writing you off, the universe was writing your story in bold, permanent ink. The darkness they surrounded you with, it's not your tomb, it's your chrysalis. Every moment of isolation, every bitter betrayal, every cruel dismissal, it's all part of your metamorphosis. They think they're breaking you down, but they're really just breaking away the parts that were never meant to be part of your final form. It's transformation through tribulation, evolution through adversity. And oh, how they hate it when you start to understand this truth. When you begin to see through their pathetic attempts to define your worth, to limit your potential. It drives them mad when their pushes down become your stepping stones up. They can't comprehend how their attempts to dim your light only make you shine brighter. Their confusion is palpable, their frustration delicious. You see, faith isn't just believing, it's knowing. Knowing deep in your bones that every time they try to write your ending, God is just setting up your next beginning. It's understanding that their rejection is just divine protection. Their abandonment is just heaven's reorganization of your support system. Every no they throw at you is just God's not yet in disguise. The chosen ones, that's what you are. Not chosen for an easy path. Oh no. You're chosen for the path that tests your mettle, forges your spirit, refines your soul. Every time they push you down, thinking they're proving your weakness, they're actually revealing your extraordinary resilience. Every time they count you out, they're just setting the stage for your miraculous comeback. Watch how they scramble to explain away your rise. Listen to them try to rationalize your resilience. See them struggle to understand how their best efforts to destroy you only serve to construct your empire. They'll call it luck, coincidence, anything but what it really is. Divine intervention, playing out through human determination. You know what makes them lose sleep at night? It's not just your success. It's the way you succeed. The way you take their poison and turn it into medicine. The way you transform their roadblocks into launching pads. They can't understand it, can't replicate it, can't stop it. And that's what really drives them crazy. They see you rising, not just surviving, but thriving. And it shatters their whole worldview. Their greatest fear isn't that you'll fail. It's that you'll succeed beyond their wildest imagination. That's what keeps them up at night, tossing and turning in their beds of mediocrity. They're haunted by the possibility that all their efforts to destroy you will become the very foundation of your greatest achievements. And the best part? That's exactly what's happening. Every tear they made you cry, that's turning into the water that nourishes your garden of success. Every lie they told about you, that's becoming the fuel that powers your rocket to the stars. Every door they slammed in your face, that's transforming into a wall of your fortress of achievement. They thought they were writing your tragedy, but God was just setting up your triumph. And here's the real kicker. The more they pushed you down, the more God lifted you up. The harder they tried to break you, the stronger your divine connection grew. They didn't realize they were just instruments in a greater plan, unwitting actors in a divine drama, where their role was to prepare you for greatness. Every act of cruelty, every moment of rejection, every instance of betrayal, it was all just preparation for your elevation. Now look at you, standing taller, shining brighter, reaching higher than they ever thought possible. You're not just surviving their game anymore. You're rewriting the rules. And they can't stand it. They can't bear to watch as their victim becomes a victor, as their target becomes a triumph, as their rejected stone becomes the cornerstone of something magnificent. Let me tell you about the divine irony that's unfolding right before our eyes. See, while they're still celebrating what they think is your defeat, something extraordinary is happening in the shadows of their ignorance. It's like watching a magic trick in slow motion, but they're so busy patting themselves on the back that they miss the real transformation taking place right under their noses. Think of yourself as a diamond being formed under pressure. Every push down, every attempt to bury you deeper, it's all just adding to the pressure that's transforming you into something magnificent. They thought they were digging your grave, but God was actually creating a diamond mine. That's the thing about divine timing. It makes fools of those who think they're in control. You see, in their little screenplay of life, they cast themselves as the directors, the ones calling all the shots. But here's the plot twist they never saw coming. They're just stagehands in God's grand production. Every time they thought they were writing your tragedy, they were actually just setting up your triumph. Every scene of heartbreak they orchestrated, just a setup for your comeback story. The real masterpiece isn't just in your rise. It's in the way their weapons against you are being transformed into your armor. Those whispers behind your back, they're becoming the wind beneath your wings. the doors they slammed in your face. They're turning into walls of your fortress. The bridges they burned, they're becoming the fuel for your phoenix-like rise from the ashes. Here's what fascinates me about divine justice. It has a peculiar sense of poetry to it. While they're busy trying to dim your light, they don't realize they're actually feeding it. Every shadow they cast becomes another contrast that makes you shine brighter. Every attempt to silence you gives your voice more power. Every effort to isolate you just creates more space for God to work in your life. And oh, the sweet irony of watching them now. They're starting to notice something different about you, aren't they? The way you carry yourself, the peace in your eyes, the unshakable confidence in your step. It confuses them, disturbs them even. They can't quite put their finger on it. Something's changed. You're not playing by their rules anymore. You're operating on a different frequency altogether. You see, they thought they were the ones testing you, but really, they were the ones being tested. Every time they chose cruelty over kindness, betrayal over loyalty, destruction over support, they were just revealing their own character while strengthening yours. They were like sculptors who thought they were destroying a masterpiece, when in fact, they were just chipping away everything that wasn't meant to be part of your final form. Watch how they start to question everything now. See how their certainty begins to crack when they realize their best efforts to destroy you have only served to elevate you. Observe how their smug smiles fade when they understand that every tear they caused has become a pearl in your crown of glory. This is what happens when human plans collide with divine purpose. The very weapons formed against you become instruments of your elevation. The chosen ones understand something that these self-proclaimed puppeteers never will. True power isn't in the ability to push others down, but in the capacity to rise despite being pushed. It's not about avoiding the fall. It's about what you become in the process of getting back up. Every time they knocked you down, God was actually teaching you how to fly. Every time they tried to break you, the divine hand was actually showing you where your strength lies. There's a special kind of terror that grips them now. The terror of watching their victim become victorious, their target become triumphant. But it's not your revenge they're witnessing, it's your restoration. While they were keeping score of all the times they hurt you, God was keeping count of all the times you chose to rise above, to keep believing, to stay faithful despite the pain. And now, as your light grows stronger, their shadows start to feel heavier. As your purpose becomes clearer, their confusion deepens. As your faith bears fruit, their doubt begins to suffocate them. They're starting to realize that in their desperate attempts to write you off, they actually wrote themselves out of the next chapter of your story. While they were busy trying to be your ending, God was positioning you for a new beginning. Look at how the tables have turned. The very qualities they mocked, your faith, your resilience, your unwavering belief in something greater than yourself, these have become your crown jewels. Pain they inflicted, that's become your testimony. The rejection they served, that's become your redirection to something far greater than they could ever imagine. You know what makes this whole divine spectacle absolutely delicious? The timing of it all. Just when they think they've written the final chapter of your story, God starts revealing the prologue of your legacy. It's like watching a master chess player unveil a strategy that was set in motion dozens of moves ago, and all those pieces they thought were random sacrifices. They were actually positioning you for checkmate. There's something beautiful about the way divine justice operates in slow motion. It gives them front row seats to their own undoing, forces them to watch in excruciating detail how every act of cruelty they inflicted becomes a building block in your monument of success. The universe has a peculiar sense of humor that way, turning their ammunition into your architecture, their poison into your medicine. Consider this. In their narrow vision, they saw only what they were taking from you. They counted your losses, celebrated your setbacks, marked every tear and every scar. But in their accounting, they missed something crucial. The divine multiplication that was happening in secret. Every loss was being converted into future gain, every setback into a setup, every scar into a story of survival. The chosen ones carry a particular kind of power that terrifies the masses, the power of divine resilience. It's not just about bouncing back. It's about bouncing back with such force that you crack the very foundation of their supposed superiority. They pushed you into the fire, thinking it would destroy you. But instead, you emerged as pure gold, refined by the very flames they thought would consume you. Here's what keeps them awake in the dead of night. The realization that they're no longer characters in your story. They've become cautionary tales in your testimony. Their names, once spoken with fear and trembling, are now merely footnotes in your epic of overcoming. They wanted to be the authors of your downfall, but instead, they've become background extras in your ascension story. Notice how they scramble now to rewrite history, to paint themselves in a different light. Watch how desperately they try to convince others and themselves that they were somehow part of your success story all along. But their revisionist attempts fall flat because truth has a way of echoing through time, drowning out their hollow claims with the thunder of your authentic triumph. The divine comedy reaches its crescendo when they realize that while they were busy plotting your destruction, God was orchestrating your construction. Every obstacle they placed in your path became a stepping stone in your divine staircase. Every door they slammed became a wall in your fortress. Every rejection letter became a brick in the foundation of your empire. What they never understood about the chosen ones is that your power doesn't come from external validation. It flows from divine connection. While they were busy trying to cut you off from worldly support, they actually pushed you deeper into supernatural strength. Their attempts to isolate you only intensified your intimacy with the divine. In trying to break your spirit, they accidentally helped forge your unshakable faith. Look at them now, trapped in the prison of their own mediocrity, watching as you soar past the limitations they tried to impose on you. They're still playing the same small games, fighting over the same tiny territories, while you're exploring universes they never even dreamed existed. Their world remains as narrow as their hearts, while yours expands with every beat of divine purpose. The chosen ones understand a truth that eludes the masses. Success isn't just about achieving goals. It's about fulfilling divine destiny. While they measured victory in dollars and cents, in likes and shares, in hollow applause and empty accolades, you were building something far more precious. A testament to God's faithfulness, a monument to divine intervention, a beacon for others trapped in similar storms. Watch how the atmosphere shifts when you enter a room now. Feel the weight of destiny that accompanies your presence. Observe how they struggle to maintain their facade of superiority when faced with the undeniable evidence of your supernatural elevation. Their scripts no longer work. Their roles no longer fit. Their power no longer impacts you, because you're operating in a different dimension altogether. The final act of this divine drama isn't about your vindication. It's about their revelation. As they witness your unstoppable rise, they're forced to confront the possibility that there's something bigger at play, something beyond their understanding. Their carefully constructed worldview crumbles as they face the reality that their best efforts to destroy you only served to position you for greatness. Remember this: when God chooses someone for elevation, opposition becomes opportunity. Rejection becomes redirection. And what was meant for evil transforms into the catalyst for divine good. You're not just surviving their attacks anymore. You're thriving because of them. Every push down has become a launching pad up. Every curse has blossomed into blessing. Every wound has transformed into wisdom. In the end, this isn't just about your success. It's about divine vindication. It's about showing the world that when God marks someone for greatness, no amount of human interference can derail their destiny. Your story becomes living proof that divine purpose will always triumph over human opposition, that heavenly favor will always outweigh earthly rejection.